Once again, welcome to the Sesh Podcast. It's where the biggest names in cannabis come smoke the best weed and have the realest conversations. I'm your host, TreesandBreeze, and today, first and foremost, let me say we have a student of the game in the building. We have somebody that, in my opinion, is one of the best, one of the most knowledgeable minds in cannabis. He makes really dope hash. Now known as the Solventless expert, we got my guy, my brother, Ben McCabe in the building. What's up, bro?
What's up, G?
We're good with you.
Trying to light this blunt. I feel like I don't know how anymore. It's been a while.
It's been a while, bro. I've been waiting to do this episode for like literally maybe before the Sesh was a thing. So let me give you guys a little bit of background. The Sesh Podcast, I was supposed to be doing the podcast with Ben McCabe in the beginning of manifesting the podcast, but Ben McCabe has bigger and better duties than just talking shit like me. So I'm gonna give you.
I was the movement behind this podcast, bro. I wanted to do it, and then I got kicked off, and it became your fucking podcast.
I'm glad you got kicked though, bro. Because let's talk about why you got kicked. But now let's talk about why you got kicked. Fuck all that. I want to first go on to this, bro, because I'm very interested in your story. Why? Because you were the first person that I actually connected with when I got to California. So I give you guys a little bit of a background. Ben let me live in his house my first 4 months.
I didn't let you live shit. I was told that you were coming to live with me, to be honest.
So funny. Well, all in all,
but it turned out good. I was happy with it.
Yo, for real though, bro. Because all in all, like, not only did I get to learn. Not only did I get to be in a cool environment, I got to learn so much from this dude right here, bro. Like, and I want to give you the light of not only telling us, like, because your love for weed and cannabis, bro, is enormous, bro. So I first want to ask you, like, when did you start smoking?
Oh shit. I got high the first time when I was 11. It was the summer after 6th grade. And then me and my best friend were hanging out with this dude who we knew, and we stole weed from his mom. and then
Mama had the gas.
Totally stereotypical. We went and smoked that joint underneath the fucking bridge. So it was a classic beginnings, I suppose.
Nice, and that was at 11, bro. And would you say like that was the first time? Well, what was you smoking on? Do you remember? Was it like a strain? Or like no,
rags.
Not rags,
for
100%,
sure.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was gonna get at too. But do you feel as in like was that the first time you fell in love with weed?
I don't even know when that was.
Yeah, but was it like, all right, so what my question really wasn't an initial like, all right, this is something I want to do a lot, or was it like something that was a slow roll for you?
Nah, me and my best friend growing up, Tony, we always said, you know, Tony's brother was into drugs and shit, so we were always like, yo, I'm never getting high, man. We're never doing drugs. And then my boy Dan got fucking high one day, and me and Tony was like, that's it, we're doing it. And then and then we got high, and then we used to it used to just always be so exciting, bro. Getting high ruled your whole day. Like you get so excited to get a fucking bag of weed. You didn't even know how to smoke it.
Yep.
I couldn't roll a joint to save my life.
Yep.
We couldn't find anything to smoke out of. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So and then when you finally got high, man, like I was high all goddamn day. And then you slept like a rock.
Facts,
you know?
And
so
then,
I don't know, we started like after we stole that weed from homie's mom, I just always loved getting weed, man. And then I don't even know when I really fell in love. I never really know when I fell in love with it, but I did.
I hear you. I definitely hear you because I feel like, especially when I was smoking coming up, I was like something like I used to get weed, and then more I smoked it, the more I liked it. That's why it actually wasn't like an initial thing that you knew you was gonna get high, or like did it grow on you. But past that, So we're talking like
when I was young, I was like, I'm smoking every day.
Yeah, that's
I was like, my goal was to be like, yo, if I could smoke every day,
yeah.
I'm winning. So yeah, that was definitely like, for a while, I used to be like so excited to be like, yo, I smoked every day this week, like feeling like a baller.
And do you think?
I don't know.
That's funny because as a little kid, I used to feel the same way. When I got to get high all week, it became a damper though. I ain't gonna lie. And I was gonna ask you this question because I was going with it before. I used to smoke so much that I couldn't afford it, bro. So how did you like coming up smoking? We always taking 20s from moms.
From your mom to like fucking go do whatever you're doing and just spend that shit on weed. Thanks mom.
Straight up. I mean,
but it was never like a burden, man. I started selling weed when I was younger, so I grew up in like a small town, and
so you started selling weed. That's what I was going to get to.
I started selling weed when I was like 14, 15.
Yeah, that's what's going. What age did you see it like?
All
right, this is a high, but I need to not profit off it, or maybe it was a profit thing, but maybe it was like I can make money, or I need to have money to do this because that's what
I
pretty
don't
much
even know
was
why.
me.
It wasn't like that. It was just like, it was just a cool thing to do. You know what I mean? And like, I always wanted to smoke, and then it was like these dudes were in town. Like I grew up in a small town, so there was always like everybody in town smoked weed. Everybody.
Hell yeah.
So there was always like a few.
This is Connecticut,
dudes.
right? This is Connecticut we're talking about, right? Shout out to Connecticut.
So there was always like a few guys who like sold weed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to get a hold of them motherfuckers, and you get ripped off and all this shit. And so they always sold like haze and sour. And then I got in going one under, selling the headies for a better price.
Nice.
And I fucked the game up. Everybody was selling .8s.
Keep
and
it
I was
real.
Like grams, baby.
Keep it real. Was you selling the headies with the exotic names on it or what?
Nah, I'm an honest guy.
Honest guy.
I got headies, bro. Take it or leave it.
Nice.
That other motherfucker ain't answering. Your boy's right here.
Nice.
But it was more fun than anything, man. And then it got to a certain point. Like one day, I had like $1,500. And I never had that money in my fucking life before that. So I was like blown away that I could fucking actually have some money. And then I spent every dime though. I didn't save a goddamn thing.
Yeah. That first weed money, like I think I asked the question one time on a previous podcast, like do you remember like what you did with the first money you made off of weed? Like
I always spent it on partying. I spent it on the homies. Like I didn't because it was a small town, like people got busted all the time, right?
Hell
people
yeah.
would get raided. And I was always nervous, like, oh, if I get raided, they're gonna take my money. I was a kid, I didn't really realize shit, so I was just like, you know what? Like one of my boys got raided when he was in college, and like he was a few years older than me, and that's when I was really starting to make money. So I was just like, fuck it, like they can't take your TV, they can't take your computer. So I was mad young. I always had like the brand new fucking iMac, big ass TV. Like I had hooked up shit. I was driving a Beamer.
Smart.
You know,
not really assets, but
but I was like, yo, you know what? I was like, they won't be able to take this from me, which is stupid because like they could have definitely took my car if they fuck. But that was just yeah. So I never really saved a goddamn thing. I wish I did.
Word. We all been there, but I said this in the intro, and why I want to tap on this is I called you a student of the game, bro. Like I feel like all our stories, like previous to the podcast, and even now on the podcast, you showed that like even at a young age, you had like this fascination for weed, bro. And like, can you tapping a little bit about like how that helped you, not just selling weed, but like your fascination for weed, not only probably would you say got you into this point now, or like
sure. Like one of the things I say is like,
but wait, I want to ask the question: was it more of the getting high aspect, or was it more of like I can get high off this? But now, once you found out about the plant, was it like an interest in the plant?
I mean, like it was never an interest in the plant. I still don't know a whole lot about the plant. I know about extraction, and here's like because I just loved getting high, right? So like,
but I wouldn't say no. You don't have to know a lot about the plant for extraction, right? I hear you talking
but
like
you learn along the way. Listen,
right.
Like I loved weed, right? I always loved getting high, and I loved all the different kinds. It wasn't like I was going out trying to learn shit.
Right.
I researched on my own accord because I really liked it. I researched just different shit about weed, different history, people. Like I read about Eddie Lepp back in the day when I was super young, thinking this dude was crazy. Now fucking we see Eddie Lepp fucking everywhere. It's Eddie.
Yep. That's true. 100%.
But it's I always just really fucking liked weed, and I always had a lot of weed because I sold weed, so I was able to see like a lot of weed and a lot of different weed all the time. So I got to learn without knowing it like what good weed was, what different types of strains were, what a trichome was, right?
Right.
And then again, I never really like I moved out west
and that's what
I lived on a farm, and I found out real fucking quick, man. I did not like farming. Like growing weed is not what it's cracked up to be on a farm, and so, and I moved back and just kept selling weed, and then I found out about doing like dabs. I found out my boy was open blasting butane, and I learned over Skype. I think I didn't even know what Skype was. I downloaded Skype just to learn because this dude knew how to make oil. So I was like, I gotta fucking find out what's fucking Skype. Let's do it. And then so we got like a stainless steel turkey baster with a can of butane, stuck an eighth in there, and made my first gram of oil. I remember that. I did it on the back porch. I think my mom was like home, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing over there?" And then I just like without knowing it, like I just learned different types of shit. Again, I sold weed, so I was exposed to a bunch of different oil now and different strains thereof, and just got to experience like what oil was and how to enjoy it. Like, and then all of a sudden,
and this is in Connecticut where you're making oil still.
This is all in Connecticut.
Nice.
And then I got a job in Connecticut, like at one of the first legal operations there. I went legit, and
so that's what I was about to say. That's the question. So let me ask it because you're about to answer it. All right. When did you figure like, all right, hustling's good, but when you say like, all right, I can actually make a career, not a career, but maybe let's start with getting a job doing this.
So there was I was involved in a smoke shop, and I had an argument. I basically got fired.
Involved with a smoke. So you worked at like a head shop or something?
Yeah. I worked at head shops all the time. I always had a job, even when I was hustling. And then
nice.
I worked at a smoke shop because I liked weed. I liked weed. That's why I know about glass and shit like that. We opened up a store, and they're still doing it. Rock and Smoke in Connecticut. They're actually dope. Check them out if you're there. So I got into an argument with the owner there. Pretty much got fired. Fucking all depressed, and all of a sudden I looked in because like weed was just starting to get legal in Connecticut, and I got a job there, and one thing led to another. I started in the extraction department, and then my bosses there for one reason or another ended up leaving, and I was able to run the extraction department for a little bit. I learned a lot about like making oils from like CO2, like even nothing that you would really want to smoke these days, and like making different products, and like basically just like how to manipulate the oils.
Just early on, what year is this? What year was this? What years we talking? If you can, like, just give us a little scope.
This was only like 2015.
But that's
2014 maybe.
That's intricate in the game though, bro. Look how much that 5 years made the difference.
For sure. But Connecticut's a whole different place, man. It was different. It's so much different from out there to out here. So like I got to learn how to manipulate the resin, right? Manipulate the oils of the plant. And again, just because I liked it, it was cool. Like I was making shit money. I was like, whatever. Again, one thing led to another. Life happened, and I ended up moving out to Oregon, and with one of the investors from that company.
Nice.
And I got to learn a lot out there. We had a lab and a grow. We were selling on the legal market. It was pretty dope.
You said one of the investors. Can you speak on who that is, or is it like a?
Yeah, that's like my mentor and one of my best friends, Dan Funk.
My guy.
The guy's the man.
He's the man, bro.
We had a lab and a grow up there, and then we started Dan started a vaporizer company, Dank Funk. And we started selling vaporizers, and that's how I met these guys doing Rosin Tech. Is we started doing trade shows till we get together, and at that point, like actually Rosin Tech had sent me one of their presses.
Right, hold on, wait. Ooh, Ben, you're really good. And like I kind of mapped this conversation out because I'm like, all right, I want to go hear from it, and you're just going down the train. So you're in Oregon now, right? CO2. BHO, if I'm not mistaken.
Just did BHO.
BHO, no CO2. So CO2.
We had a CO2 machine. I'm sorry. We did do a batch of CO2.
Okay.
Nothing that we ever put out.
All right. And now you're in the Oregon market?
Yeah.
How's that in 2014, 2015?
Nah, so this was in 2016.
2016. Okay. Oregon market. Yeah. What is that you're in, or what is that scene like, if you can paint it for me?
So when we got there, it was fucking free for all, man. It was like, I guess what people referred, it was the end of the good old days is when I got there. You know what I mean? So it was like we were able to make some batches. We were growing, and like nobody was really watching us, right? This is right around the time Oregon started like implementing their like rules and regulations, their legit shit.
For anybody that's in question, the end of the gray area is what we would call it, right? Like the end of the gray area.
Right when you like start to legalize for like recreational use, then the government comes in and like then they start to regulate shit. Before that, it was like the wild. They didn't make a law around it, so there was no law saying that you couldn't do it or trying to restrict you and saying like you had to have a distribution
extraction.
Like you could literally, for extraction, for growing, like it was all very loose.
Wow. Yeah.
And so right when I came in, it was like they changed the laws to where you had to have shit, batch IDs and shit. They were tracking plants from the clone or the seed to every single plant that you ever had a tag on it, and where was the weed going. It was all tracked, and you had to have these certain lab tests.
So they was tracking it from pretty much seed to sale?
Well, yeah, they were starting to track it from seed to sale, as well as starting to tax the product more and require a certain type of lab testing from a certain type of machine. So if like we ran into a scenario, we had like a couple 1,000 grams ready to go, and it was fire. It was really good.
Yeah.
And like right when it was about to go, they switched the laws on us. So we had like all this. One day we had like 4,000 grams that were compliant. The next day we had 4,000 grams that were illegal.
Wow.
You know, so
can you tell me what really was it, like the testing levels, or why the market? I understand
you had to get it tested from like a gas chromatography type shit.
Good, you got an ashtray right here if you want.
It was a certain type of testing, I think, and you had to get it tested for more shit. Before it was like, potency and like microbials and pesticides, or I forget even what it was.
And the testing had to go in for a certain amount of time. It wasn't like you couldn't just get it retested after, right? Like the testing had to be in for a certain amount of time.
Now you could get that shit tested as many times as you want.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool.
Until somebody came out with a good one, and then you'd put that out.
Okay.
I mean, that's how a lot of people did it. But
so that was the Oregon market for you, and okay.
Oregon was dope. Like, and it still is. Like, they still have weed in big ass jars that doesn't have to be prepackaged, which I like.
I love buying weed like that.
And but everybody associates Oregon with like shit weed now because the outdoor harvest spot.
Yeah, yeah. Especially with like, all right. So you're in Oregon, right? You're doing your thing out there, and now you said you started mentioning about. You met Vin and Sam, founders of show products or show companies, and you built a relationship with one of them. And now, like, of course, you work there now, but I'm trying to train that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I met Vin and Sam. I met Vin. It was either at Champs or MJ BizCon. I want to say it was MJ BizCon one year.
Yep.
And
this is probably like late 2016 or something.
Well. I actually met Vin through Barry.
Barry Poppins?
Yeah, you had him on, right?
Yeah, shout out to my boy Barry Poppins. Yeah. He's number 3 episode on here. Check it out.
We knew Barry, and then Barry was like, yo, you guys should meet. He was talking to like Dan. Dan knew Barry, right?
Nice.
And then Dan and Vin met up, and I was just like Dan's guy, you know?
Word.
And then I met Vin and Sam, and again, life happened, so Vin and I got along pretty well, and we started doing trade shows together. So we had the Dank Funk Vaporizer Company up in Oregon, and so we started going to like the High Times Cannabis Cup, and like Vin and Sam just started doing the Solventless experience with Rosin Tech products.
Nice.
So I got a booth in that for Dank Funk. I might have been like I must have been like one of the first brands to get a booth at the Solventless experience.
That's sick.
And so I got along with both of them really well, and like the whole crew was awesome, right? Because they're like New York guys, and I was from Connecticut, and I just moved out west.
It's that East Coast vibe.
It was like, oh shit! Like I realized that like different areas in the country have different vibes, and I really got along with them. So then one thing led to another, and I ended up starting to work with these guys, moving down to LA.
So
in
2016,
I think as well.
Oh yeah, so
the end of 2016.
End of 2016, wrap it up in Oregon. You come down to LA. Now you're in LA, and I know a little background, of course, so I'm just gonna train it through for the people. I know you were working with the machines directly at first, right? And you were like doing like company. So the Rosin Tech products, the press is what I'm talking about.
I was a salesman. I was a salesman for the company when I first came in.
Nice.
And like I knew a little bit about extraction, so I
always helped with the sales, right? Knowing just the know-how.
Yeah. I didn't do it. It didn't really help with the sales. Like I wasn't that good a salesman, bro. I didn't like it. I was not quickly, but I was removed from that position.
Okay.
But I still helped out because I knew about like extraction. So like any like tech on like how the machines were used or whatever to answer like the customers' questions, I'd help out with the sales guys, and then we'd go to trade shows and
Yeah, because even when I came into the company, bro, and this is probably like maybe a year and a half prior to this date, you were like, it wasn't like you were away from the machines, but like, you were like the information guy on like the. So this is when
I'm the resident weed head.
Right. Cases. No, I wouldn't say weed head, but this is
that's on one of the job descriptions, I suppose.
That's funny. But you it started to explain to me about consulting and like the processes of just going to making hash, right? And now this is where these conversations came up for me and you, because I'm like, right, it wasn't like machines where you were employed for the company, and then you started telling me like, yo, bro, we're gonna make hash one day, and I'm the guy that's gonna do it, and it's gonna be fucking dope every single time. And I'm like, oh shit, this guy's talking a lot of shit. I don't know if he can really do it, but I knew you can do it just the way you were talking, bro. Like how you explain things to me, and for a person that didn't know that you can put water on weed and make something, you know what I'm saying? Like literally make hash. I never knew none of these things, and you'll be able to paint these pictures. So you're in the company now looking like I said, like a year and a half later, we're in a position where we're dropping our own THC products, right? And you're the person that's making it. So like I said at the beginning, the Solventless expert is because we got the Rosin Tech Labs that just dropped. Shout out to Rosin Tech Labs. And you made all the hash for Rosin Tech Labs. So
I did. I don't like that name either. I don't like the Solventless expert.
I know you hate it, bro, but I
hate that shit.
I know you hate it. I know. But I purposely put it in there because it's not like it's a myth that you're making dope shit, bro. Like we're able to smoke it today. So
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
that's
not only like now being in a position to make hash. Oh, well, tell us how did you really got into the point of making hash? Like, how did you learn how to make hash? Before even talking about Rosin Tech Labs, how did you learn how to make hash?
Well, like I said, my boy taught me how to, over Skype, taught me how to make butane. It's more about like how to manipulate the resin, right? And understand like the trichome, and like how did I learn? Like just research and shit, just being interested in like the products you're consuming and how to like make it. I was making extracts and stuff, so it's like once you start to research like whether it be butane extracts, that's really like where I first like really like dived in deep. Like before making, when I really dived in deep with butane, like trying to figure out how to make like dope products.
Yep.
You know, like I was after quality at that point, because like when I was younger and I sold weed, it was always about getting the best weed. And it's just like that's all I like. Who wants to smoke shitty weed, right? Who wants to drink shitty alcohol? Who wants to eat shitty food? Nobody. So like 100%. I was always like, all right, cool, like let's get the best shit possible. And I just love to smoke, man. And then like, so when you like make hash and doing it for yourself too, always just trying to make the best shit. And and then God bless fucking the United States or California for making weed legal. Like, and all that's how, you know, then all of a sudden like a job came of it. And I happen to be part of a team who was able to get a license in California, and we put out some hash. Nice. I mean, like, it's really like,
and how's that been?
It's not like something that was like something that I set out like I'm gonna run a brand in California for Solventless. You know, it was like it's surreal to a certain point, and it's like really, I mean, it's fucking cool, man. I'm excited to put out like Solventless hash, right? Solventless is like not the hardest, but takes the most amount of like time and dedication and labor to like make a good solventless product. Right. You know, like ice water hash or live rosin. So to me, that's like the top tier, right? And then to put out like top tier quality on that is something else. And I'm proud of like what went out, and to like be on the California market like that, and to be in like a legit company like it's exciting, man. It's really cool. And it was
I'm about to try
just happy to fucking be here, man.
So but now that you have a product, and well, before the product, what was that process like with your team, and not just a person that's just making hash? Well, I would say prior to this, like I know you always you did say you made hash on the scale to sell, but now having a team of people that's like ran by you, and you guys are making dope hash, how does that feel?
Feels cool.
Feels cool.
I mean, it's like
it don't have to be some elaborate answer, but I know it's different. From just like
it's definitely
now, like
different.
You're running your own ship, bro. Literally, you know what I'm saying? And then like before, it was a total reflection of you, but now it really is a total reflection of you. You know what I mean? The box could easily say Ben McCabe on it. Well, you know what I mean? But
it's cool to have the team there doing it, and to like teach people. I like teaching. Like I really like talking about it, and like seeing other like. You know, it's interesting to have a whole team behind what you're doing, right? So you can focus on like different aspects, right? Instead of just like focusing on making the product, now you have a team where it's like, instead of focusing on making the product, I want you to just focus on doing this one task right here, and then just start to control different aspects of the process, right? So whether it be like for ice water hash, like whether you're paddling the water, right, or managing bubbleators, whatever process you're going to do it, to actually do the wash, you know, that's the only thing you have somebody doing, and you teach them exactly like what the parameters we do to create the quality, you know. And everybody like likes weed for the most part, you know.
Yeah,
Really appreciates the process, so it's cool to like get other people who value it and who are interested in it, you know, and like to see them get excited about it and they're like just make a cool product, you know. So and then like you have another person who's just doing the collection from when you drain the bubbleators, you know, to
Nice.
do after your first or second or third or fourth whatever wash it is, you know. And then you have somebody who's just doing rosin pressing, right, to make the rosin. So instead of like doing everything all at once, you have certain people to just focus, you know, and
all right,
control the
to tap
control
more
aspects.
about like the products being out now. Like other day, we just had a launch. Well, 2 other days we just had a launch for the B2B on 7/10,
Yep.
and we had another launch on 7/13 for a consumer launch. So we let the consumers, people, come try the product and like not only see your own reaction, a person that knows about hash, but how is it to see other people's reaction on the hash that you made? Like you were the captain of that ship, and it wasn't just like a couple people. It was like literally you got to see 2 different groups of people from inside the industry as buyers and as of like buyers to distribute and retail to people, but as also consumers and retailers, people who's buying at retail and consuming the product. How did that feel to see everybody like smoking your shit, bro? Honestly. Like describe that feeling. Like, oh, you're in the party, you're like, damn, everybody's getting high because of me. I made some dopeness.
I didn't really feel that way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was happy to put out the product, but like it was like it's a brand, man. I don't feel that like, oh, this is all mine. Like it's like you know, there was a team behind all that shit, you know. There's so many people that go into it. Like I made some hash and that's the product that's being sold, but man, the boxes, like all that shit, like, so I didn't feel like, oh, it was just me. I didn't feel that way at all. I didn't feel that like, oh, this is cool because whatever. It was just like a dope thing to be able to have like, yeah, I made hash that people are getting high off. I like that, like, you know, and to have people buy it and be excited about it, like that's really cool. But it was just a party, man. I was just
enjoying
you
it.
know, yeah, I was enjoying it. It was,
Right.
you know, and I guess I didn't really. I was
I
kind
don't
of.
know. I guess I expected like maybe I don't know, but I heard
I
you
was
say
super
one time.
excited inside. Like I'm super
I know,
excited.
I heard
to
you
be
say like
putting-
California is like the major leagues, bro. The major leagues
Yeah.
of cannabis, and to have a product.
Well,
that,
California is. I mean, the size of California is. It's one of the largest economies in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And not only that, but LA is like the epicenter of weed. If you know, and Northern California is famous all over the world. So shit, to put it out in California, that's the fucking major league for sure. You know, just because there's not really. That's where the most established cannabis culture and business is.
Yeah. People
You know,
can say AKA the
Colorado
Mecca.
as well.
Yep.
But California's I mean, it's California. Come on.
Yeah,
So like that's cool.
Let me just
That's
stop
an
you and say,
accomplishment for myself.
That was fire though. The Banana OG, Rosin Tech Labs.
Which one you got there?
It's the Banana OG. That shit was fire. Oh my god. Nice, bro. Shout out to my boy Ben McCabe. He in the building today. We doing it. It's the Sesh Podcast. We doing it. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm just high. I have more questions. It's not over. Now, going to you personally,
Oh boy.
what's your favorite way to smoke?
I like to dab, but like I also it's a dab or a joint. I won't pick one. I'll pick both.
Nice.
Cause like sometimes a dab is really nice. You don't get as tired, but like smoking a joint or a blunt right there, that was nice. Except
Yeah.
my hands, I can't smell this. All I smell is blunt. I'm like,
Yeah, that's the only thing about the after fucking smell
me
in your
stuffed
hand.
up.
That's why I really won't like fuck with a bong right now, like cleaning a bong out, because the smell that's on my hand after a bong,
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, G, I'm not with it. Okay. Do you have like a favorite strain? Nah.
I like them all. Is that not fair to say?
Nah,
I was
that's the
telling you
truth,
earlier
though.
today, actually, the sour OG or the high octane.
Yeah,
is
you
some
definitely
of my
did say
favorite.
that.
I don't know why lately that's just been, that's been my favorite. I used to love fucking like J1
Mm-hmm.
with that super like skunky J1. It used to be a favorite.
Yeah, is XJ1 the same as J1? Is
Nah.
XJ1? Oh, what's the difference? Let's talk about this a
So-
little bit.
I don't know what XJ
XJ1? I'm
Yeah,
making some shit up.
XJ1
Am I making some shit up? I feel like I see that all the time.
I think you're thinking like
XJ13 maybe.
XJ13,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Smoke a problem. Get high too much. Adam Hill called me that on that yesterday. He's like, you don't be knowing no strands. I'm like, yo, sometimes I know. That shit smell like this shit. I just be, it's funny.
No, fuck, what was it?
XJ.
Yeah, XJ. So the J1's Jack Herrera and skunk number 1. And it's like, it's not like Jack Herrera's like super light. It adds a skunk to it that's like, just gives it like this this funky fucking power. You know, it's a little more heavy than that. But I don't know. I don't dig it too much anymore. It seems too light. I'm liking like OG and like cakes and like yeah, I'm liking that. I wish I could get some AJ Sour Diesel. That's my favorite shit in the world.
AJ Sour Diesel.
AJ Sour Diesel. Now that I think about it,
we've seen AJ somewhere, right? I remember you telling me like that's I remember you telling me like this exactly. Don't pull the camera out, but right there, that's AJ Sour Diesel. I'm like, he's like, that's AJ from AJ Sour Diesel.
He'll fuck with you.
I'm like, who the fuck is that?
I don't know him that well. I've met him a few times. My boy knows him.
Yeah.
So.
But I think where was I going from there? Are you running your life up?
Nah.
I'm so glad I asked that question like that. Oh man, so I mean I really asked that more or less like, what's your take on like things like that? And what I mean things like that, like, so when you put we talked about your strains just now, strains you like. Do you buy weed per like brand and trust that brand to have fire?
Yeah,
and what
sometimes.
I mean like by sometimes. So would you buy into like a runt situation? And if it wasn't like the runt situation, what are those brands? Or just an example. I'm not saying they're better. Just saying like this is why and why. Because for me, like a runts, I feel like people don't even know what runts is, and people just falling behind it. I feel like half these people never even smoked runts, especially if you're not in California.
That's part of it though. It's an experience now. Like, I bought Haze because it was Haze. You know, I was bought, and it was good weed at the same time. But like almost everything's fucking good weed. Right. Now we just got the preference. So like, a strain has always been a brand. You know what I mean? And like yeah. So I definitely wouldn't like. Some brands are dope. Some brands always have good shit, and people hate. You know what I mean? Like Jungle Boy's got fire weed. Like, what are you talking about? Jungle Boy's weed ain't good.
Yeah, it's fire weed.
Some people are like, oh, it's mids. I'm like, all right. It's whatever, dude. Like, go smoke whatever fuck you're smoking. Good for you. Yeah. But like, and like, there's levels to 100%. It, but it ain't mids. Like, there's a ton of good shit out there. Like, 100%. Johnetics always got like bomb flavors. They got like, I've seen them at cups for fucking since I've been at my first cup, and they used to have jars and jars and jars out of all sorts of different genetics and flavors like no one else. Like, and all their flavors were like on point. Weed was manicured well, like taken care of. Like it was fire. It was really good up in Humboldt. And then like Team Elite Genetics has been good, and then like Cookies is fire too. Yeah, Cookies. Once these people start to get like huge, though, I do definitely notice like the
hype.
Well, the hype goes up and the quality goes down. It's just a little bit more. It's just it's just a little bit more bland. I think like like certain people have like it looks like you harvested weed and you fucking held the stem like this with the branch in your hand and you waited 7 days till that motherfucker dried. It didn't touch nothing, didn't hang upside down, touch other branches, and then as soon as you're ready to smoke it, there you go. Like it never nothing ever touched it, and like some brands do that well, like show fire fire shit.
So,
but not everybody like.
But that being said, how do you buy your weed? So, or how do you say? How do you buy your weed? Do you rather buy it from dispensary or is it homie situation?
Both. I think so. Like recently, like the best shit was always not recently, but a little while ago, the best shit was always from the homies for sure. For like certain type of extracts and weed, just because like the legal market was fairly new. Yeah. But now there's some people starting to come out where you could like trust the brand and the quality thereof. Like 710 Labs Field Extracts, those guys are doing it, man. They got.
Is that because you trusted the brand before it was legal?
Solventless, dope hash, and like you can always like you could trust that brand, and buying something's always going to be quality. And I think they're like one of the first brands to really do that on the next level. So it's I guess I'd say it's harder to find in the dispensary, and it's more likely you'll find it from the homie. But I think you're going to see it start to go the other way. But I don't think that the homie with fire is ever going to leave. I just think he's going to be harder to find.
Yeah.
You know, because you're gonna be so used to going to the store and just getting weed. Why fucking deal with the hassle of going to see some guy in his schedule when the store is always open?
Are you running?
As brands get better, like why not?
Are you running a risk when not buying when buying homie weed, because it's not tested? Is that a thing?
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, we've been smoking non-tested weed forever.
I
right?
mean, like, getting a test is definitely nicer.
Yeah.
If you have test results, I could be like, oh, you're whack. Like, nah, like, cool, show them. That's what you got.
Right.
You know, like, I want to see, like, and I'm not looking for potency. I'm looking for if it passed in testing for other shit. And, like, so, like, yeah, you always want to smoke clean shit. But, like, at the same time, like, I've only been smoking clean shit for like the past 2 years, I think. I don't know. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's the only time I've been smoking tested weed is the past 2 years. So
No, yeah, I just look at the situation now because weed is getting used in so many different ways that, like, I guess, like, when I think about it, like,
edibles tested. And shit.
Yeah, that's about to say tinctures and shit like that. I think they kind of like have to get tested.
Butane extracts, I would suppose too.
Yeah,
just because, like, who knows, you could fucking smoking a puddle of butane, but. And
I don't
then,
know.
like,
I think about that a lot,
you
too.
ever get the edibles that are like wrapped in saran wrap? Like some dude fucking made them in his basement or something.
Yeah.
Like with his shirt off, fucking wrapping up
Like,
saran
like,
wrap,
yeah,
fucking Rice
the
Krispie
wrap it
treats.
has like it's like foggy. It's like musty in the bag. I'm like, I'm not eating that shit. You're crazy. I don't know. I see that a lot of times, like at the sessions and shit. I mean, there's a lot of good brands. Like my boy CERN, I'll be getting like the house brand. It's like a trusted brand. I think it's cool. But then, like, I've bought shit from the sesh that I'm like, what the fuck then am I smoking right now, bro? Like, almost dying off shit like that. So I don't know. I guess
There's always been good weed and bad weed, man. So
yeah, 100%. But now I think because the extract game is like that shit is dangerous. Like, honestly, my honest opinion, like, you can't be buying shitty like sauce and shit. That shit goes straight to your brain. You know what the fuck you smoking, bro? For real, I'd be scared.
it's what the people want.
Yeah. Nah, that's not what this people want. But shout outs to people like you, like making dope shit. You dig me?
Thanks, man.
No doubt, my guy. What else do I want to get into? I'm very high at this point. I ain't gonna lie. And this is the part of the segment that I'm just like, you know, this is not this is purely just for people to get to know you. Like, what are some of like your best movies, or your favorite movies to smoke to and shit like that? Or what do you do when you smoke? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you throwing on TV? Or something like you previous watched too.
I don't know. I get into shows pretty deep, and like I get like when you
what
get
you
high,
into
you
right
get
now?
attached to shit.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not into nothing right now. I just watched Euphoria. It's on HBO.
Nice.
It's about some fucking teenagers with problems, and it's like
Ain't that
it's a
the
little
truth?
it's an intense fucking show. I don't really dig it though.
Those
I can't
teenage
get
shows that be
behind it.
crazy.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, I was about to say they'd be so crazy. Remember the movie
Yeah,
Kids? Remember Kids?
Yeah.
Kids
but
was
this
crazy.
is like a millennial kids.
Oh shit.
So it's a little.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
I mean, like, I don't know. I watched like the first 2 episodes. I just can't get behind feeling like a fucking creep for an hour a night. I'm over it. But
yeah, I was watching some movie on Netflix called House of Paper. It was called Casa de Papel. I think that's House of Paper in Spanish, or somebody translated it or whatever. But long story short, there's like they're like stuck in a bank, but they don't just rob the bank of the money. They print the money in the bank. Really fucking dope. It's crazy. Like, they hold the bank up for a whole week.
what fucking point is that?
What do you mean? Wait, what's the problem?
Sounds dumb.
No.
Why would you break into a bank to print money? Print it in your fucking living room.
No, bro, you can't print no money in your living room. They're printing real unmarked dollars, not counterfeit.
They're going to like the reserve. That's not just a bank.
Oh yeah, just not a bank. It's called like that's why I think it's called.
You're talking about fucking. They're robbing Wells Fargo and they're bringing.
No, I think
hustling a printer inside.
No, hell no. They got like they're in a fucking like I guess where they make the money at because it's like a museum. Now I'm thinking about it because when they robbed the bank, there's like kids on a field trip there. And long story short, well, there's no point to the story. This is what I'm watching right now. It's really fucking dope. You should watch it. I guess.
What's it called? House of Paper.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm getting the message that we got 50 minutes or 5 minutes left. I don't know. I think we gotta go soon. So something like that. I don't know what this fucking means. So
he tells you when it's over.
Yeah. He gives me the cue. Okay. So I appreciate my guy Ben McCabe coming down to the sesh. This is a long-awaited sesh. We've been trying to do this for longer than this was even like made. So I appreciate my guy for coming down. Shout outs to Rosin Tech Labs and the Solventless expert who made the hash. Mad different flavors, 6 different strains, right? 6 different flavors we have? 5.
Five different SKUs, 2 different flavors.
5 different SKUs, 2 different flavors. They got it going on over there. Check them out at your local dispensary when it's up in there. Shout outs to Dab Nation and the people that brought us here, Emoji Extract, Royal, all that, for keeping us high and making us look good. So this is the Sesh Podcast. I'm your host, TreesandBreeze, and we out of here, G.